This episode of Bourbon on Ice, presented by your friend Frosty and your bartender Mike Whiskey, is brought to you by the Cape Media Center of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. The views and opinions expressed during this podcast do not necessarily reflect those of the Cape Media Center. Listener discretion is advised. So a duck, a cow, and 15 pirates walk into a bar. That's all I got. That's really all I got.
Roll the music.
Welcome, listeners, to Bourbon on Ice,
Where we talk about everything nerdy, like gentlemen.
Join us every week for our local Cape Cod take on, well, everything.
Laugh, cry, be confused, and laugh some more.
I'm your friend Frosty.
And I'm your bartender, Mike Whiskey.
Stay tuned. You think they'll like the episode?
Oh, they'll definitely love it.
Welcome to another wonderful, exciting episode of Bourbon on Ice.
Woo! Oh, beautiful. Brought tears to my eyes.
You sentimental fool, you. Sentimental.
Oh, yes.
Where, of course, we discuss everything nerdy, like gentlemen. And today I think we're going to break the mold on that. Okay, now, first I want to apologize. We've been MIA. That's because it's summer and we were on vacation.
Summer of fun.
Summer of...
Love.
No, that was the 70s. Or was that the 60s? Either way, we missed that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I happen to know a couple of people who were conceived from the Summer of Love. They make a point of telling me that. Oh, yes, my mother and father met in the Summer of Love. They made love under a tree, and that's how I was born. Great. So, I like paint and video games. I do like the paint.
Yeah, I do like video games.
What were you up to in the last couple of weeks? I mean, I was down at the lake. I took some trips to Providence. I actually got to go see the guys at the Eagle, the Providence Eagle.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, yeah. It was really freaking hot, but I don't mean in a sexy way. I mean like no one was in their right mind was wearing any gear. A lot of people wearing just shorts and tank tops.
I was basically underwater, going to ponds, swimming, staycation kind of stuff.
The nicest thing you can ever do is take a staycation. It costs little to nothing.
Yeah.
Were there ducks?
No ducks.
Okay.
But there's a coyote who's visiting my house.
Is this supposed to be a good thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been feeding her. And not with the littler dogs.
I was just at your house last night to play a round of D&D. I noticed both dogs were there. I think I would have noticed if one was missing and there was a trail of blood.
Oh.
This episode of Bourbon on Ice is brought to you by Market Street Bookshop in Mashpee Commons, located at 31 Market Street, Mashpee, Massachusetts. Embrace diversity and find support for local authors and artists at the Market Street Bookshop, where your favorite new read is just a browse away. For more information, give them a call at 508-539-6985. Speaking of, I just finished Dr. Sleep, Stephen King's sequel to The Shining.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I know I make it...
Did you do the audiobook thing, or did you read it?
Read it.
Okay, cool.
When I was in Washington, D.C., I went to that bookstore they have that is actually a bar and a diner in the bookstore.
Oh, cool.
And I got Dr. Sleep right there off the shelf, and I've been carrying it around ever since, and I had a lot of time, so I finally read the whole thing. Once I started, I couldn't stop. I know I'm going to get chased out of New England for saying this, but it was not full-on terror, but it was extremely intense and suspenseful.
Okay.
I mean, the fact that he had to make a follow-up to The Shining, and not the movie, the book, it was really good. I loved it. Dr. Sleep. Now a major motion picture. Don't watch that. Read the book instead.
The book is always better.
I always feel passionately about that sort of thing.
Yeah. I realized that there are probably a few times where the movie has done very well, and
Bite your tongue.
the
one.
The Lord of the Rings is a very good example of a
Acceptable.
set of movies done well.
I can see the
Books
point.
are better, but the movies themselves are a masterpiece as well.
I mean, someone had to sit down, pull their hair out, stare at the wall, and scream into a pillow, I'm a failure, just for that movie to be made eventually. Sorry, I'm a writer. This is what we do.
Yeah. I don't think Tolkien did that.
he was European. They don't do that sort of thing.
No.
No, that's what
No,
Americans do.
he was a very proper Brit.
Okay, so how nerdy is what we're about to talk about?
It's not.
It is. I
It-
counter that.
it-
D&D. Nerdier.
No.
Video games. Nerdier.
No.
Comic books. Nerdier. What are we talking
No.
about? We are talking about Back to the Future, the
The
musical.
musical.
That's right. It's time for the Cape Cod Nerd
Nerd
Word.
word.
Oh my gosh, you people, I wish you could see Whiskey's face right now.
My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined.
You look like you want to pull that hat of yours down over your head and disappear.
And I'll eat the hat.
I always love that phrase, I'll eat my hat. And I was like, are you allowed to put sauce on it? It'll make eating it a little better.
Yeah.
Yes, folks, it's true. I'm sorry, but it's true. It exists, and we've been threatening it for months now.
And yeah, it shouldn't exist.
You all thought that I was never, ever going to do it, but I did it. I did it. And I went out.
He forced me to do it.
I have that power.
Yeah.
I do actually have deep hypnotic powers. I should really use them for the benefit of mankind. But instead, this is what I'm doing. Ladies and gentlemen, I have in my hand here the original cast recording to Back to the Future, the musical.
This was painful. This was a painful experience.
We both listened to it. I listened to it on my jukebox, and he listened to it in his house.
I actually did a car trip and listened to it. So I listened to it in a cross the Cape drive jaunt, and it was just painful, and I couldn't get away because I was driving. I contemplated running off the road and into a tree, but I decided I still had to do the show.
Thank heavens it was a solo drive.
Actually, it wasn't for all of it.
Oh my gosh.
I had Mama Whiskey with me,
Okay.
and she thought it was painful. She begged me to turn it off.
And you said, Ma, this is research.
I did, and she said, "No, turn it off. You can listen to it when you've dropped me off."
Okay. Musics and let me start that over. Music and lyrics by Alan Silvestri and Glenn Ballard. Why is that familiar?
Why is that familiar?
Because he composed the music for Forrest Gump, Castaway, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Predator, The Abyss, Lilo and Stitch, The Bodyguard, The Mummy Returns, Ready Player One, several of the MCU Avenger films, and yes, the entire original Back to the Future film franchise. They went and they shook this guy out of his hammock, knocked him off the giant pile of money he was sleeping on, and said, "How'd you like to turn this into a musical?" And he said, "Okay, I'm game."
Yeah. Excuse us. Please come down off your giant pile of money. We would like to add to your giant pile of money.
And then there's Glenn Ballard. Who is that, you ask?
Who is that?
Well, he's the guy who co-wrote Hand in My Pocket, Man in the Mirror, that song Believe from Polar Express. Yeah, he's had some work.
I don't know any of those songs.
How do you not? Those are big songs. Alanis Morissette? Michael Jackson?
No.
Oh my, what is wrong with you? You and your freaking tabletop games and comic books and video game soundtracks. Stick your head out of those once in a while.
I like my rock. I shall stay under my rock, damn it.
All right, let me be clear first and foremost. This musical was signed off on by Zemeckis. This was not a lark. Someone said, "What the hell, let's do it." This was done intentionally and by design, and from what I can tell, with malice aforethought to the audience. Sorry, was that cruel and bitter? I meant it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie about any of this.
I'm genuinely surprised that they actually got the original writer and producer to sign off on this.
This won an award. This won the 2022 Olivier Award for Best New Musical.
Were there no other contenders?
I'm petrified. It premiered February 20th, 2020 at the Manchester Opera House. Went on to be in the West End in 2021, and the reason was, as you can guess, COVID having its hand in everything.
Moon was in the House of Pancakes, I guess.
It won an award. It has positive reviews. I'm not kidding. Widespread praise.
I don't get it.
One day, just there I am, sitting there doing nothing but minding my own bit. Excuse me. Minding my own bit. I can't get that phrase out.
No, you can't. I wonder why.
Because I've never minded my own damn business in my entire life. I admit it. I was on YouTube one day, and one of those things just pops up. We think you'll be interested in this, and I'm just half glancing at it, then I focused on it. Back to the Future, the musical trailer. I clicked on it, and I sat through this trailer with mounting horror, going, this is a joke, right? This is some itsy-bitsy tiny college production, right? Nope. This stars as Marty McFly, also known as Calvin Klein, Ollie Dobson. As
you know, he did a good job with the voice.
He did. As Doc Brown, you know, the Christopher Lloyd role, Roger Bart. The Roger Bart from Young Frankenstein and so many other things. And oh my, and from the producers. Just, I'm sorry, but I've seen Roger Bart do some weird things, and this kind of takes the cake. And then we have Hugh Coles as George McFly, as Lorraine, Rosanna Hyland, and as Biff, Aiden Cutler. Go Biff. I always hated that name. It sounds like the sound that something in a comic book makes when you punch someone. Biff.
Not quite, but
Pow. Zock.
Biff sounds more like a kind of mist. You know, like a whiff.
I cast Biff.
I cast iron. Bang! With that cast iron pot.
We're trying to keep fairies away. What? It works. That iron keeps fairies away.
Yeah.
I don't know how I know that. How do I know that?
I don't know.
I have no idea. So, I looped Whiskey in on this. I said, hey, dude, you've got to hear this. And then...
I resent you deeply for this, by the way.
And then I found the soundtrack online. I said, let's listen to, like, one or two. And the two of us sat there, like, looking at each other in horror, trying not to...
My father doesn't have a spine. Like, what?
The two of us trying to completely not lose it as we're sitting there listening to that. That was the song.
Mama Whiskey was laughing her ass off, too.
Of course she was. But the thing is, this somehow has a claim. And then we threatened it. We threatened the audience. We basically should have broken into their houses with weapons and menaced them with this CD in my hand. And I finally got it. Okay. So.
Make it so, number one.
There are 26 tracks on this album. That is including both the overture and the exit music.
Those two were my favorites.
No, just the exit music, right?
No, I actually did enjoy the first one. I was like, hey, this actually really sounds like the movie. Because it was.
I suppose you have to sit back and wonder a little bit, you know, what could you possibly do to make something of that caliber into a stage musical? I will say now, yes, there is a DeLorean. The two biggest props from all I've watched and listened to and seen in the photos, there is a DeLorean that's on the stage, and there is a clock tower.
All right. Like the two most necessary things. Yes.
Then they had to just put everything else in here. I'm reading through basically what is an apology to the audience here from Glenn Ballard and Ellen Silvestri, but they were justifying the whole thing. And I was saying to myself, ugh, this must be ridiculous. And that's when I went online and discovered to my horror, no, it's a success. Okay, so a few spoilers, but if you stayed with us this long, you might stick with us for the rest of it.
Cut your losses now and run.
You can escape now. Whiskey can't. The door is locked. Most of the songs you would think are in a Back to the Future, the musical, are in the musical. I speak of The Power of Love, Earth Angel, Johnny Be Good, and Back in Time. They are all in it. They said, you know, let's just take those giant things that people recognize and turn them into musical numbers. And yes, there is the whole "your kids are gonna love it" moment at the end of Johnny Be Good. It would be a crime if it wasn't. I did have some songs I liked in this. I mean, it was actually a little more put together than I thought it was going to be.
That's true. I mean, I could follow along the story quite well with just the songs.
Even operating under the premise that you've never seen this, you could follow along because it was pretty concise.
I think you'd be missing a lot if you've never seen the movie, but you could follow along fairly well, I think.
I love the song Cake, which is a phrase about having the cake and eating it too, which pokes fun at the ideals of what living in the 50s was like. People excited about cigarettes, an all-white male-led society, and super-leaded gasoline, now with more lead. Conversely, there's a song called 21st Century, with Doc Brown and a gaggle of backup singers that just happen to appear, in his own words, whenever he starts singing.
That was a clever joke. Who are they? I don't know, Marty. They just show up whenever I start singing.
And if you look in here, like there they are. There they are. They're all dressed. They're sexy women in lab coats with the little memory thing on his head at the top.
It's hard to see because you keep this room so dark.
We work best in darkness.
You work best in darkness.
Do you want me to turn the light on?
No.
Okay, why are we complaining? It's all about Doc Brown thinking about what it might be like in the future. Flying cars and trips to Mars. It'll be shiny and bright, everything a delight. No more markets will crash. Oh, God bless him. God bless him. I do want to bring up that Biff has his own song. Of course he does.
Yep.
The bad guy gets a song.
That guy always gets a song.
And it was totally forgettable. I didn't care for it at all.
I forgot.
You forgot the song.
I did forget the song.
It was called Teach Him a Lesson.
Oh, yeah, now I remember it.
But, it wasn't one of those big ones that you're like, oh, I truly fear for the characters in this musical. Mostly because most of us have seen the movie and know what's going to happen, so.
This musical was made for people who loved the movie.
I don't think how do I put this? If you're a fan of the movie, you're seeing the musical.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're not seeing the musical and thinking, oh my gosh, I have to see the movie now.
There was a musical called Margaritaville that came out. All Jimmy Buffett songs. The reviews said that literally only true parrot heads loved the musical. And my feeling was, does anyone just randomly say, oh, there's the new Jimmy Buffett musical. Let's jump and see that.
Elder Nerd actually met Jimmy Buffett.
My guy, too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he had his... sad story. He got his autograph on a napkin, but then he forgot and blew his nose on the napkin.
Oh, Elder Nerd had his phone number.
That's all. Why can I just... Elder Nerd and Jimmy Buffett, why can I see that picture in my head?
Yeah, Elder Nerd actually saved him off of his boat.
The Coast Guard?
Yeah.
Oh, that's... Did he get, not a knighthood, but an official parrot head shirt?
I don't know. He got his phone number.
Oh, as long as I'm throwing out a spoiler or two here, there's some differences between the musical and the movie, as you would expect. One of them is that Doc Brown is not shot; he is irradiated.
That's probably worse. That's a worse fate.
Instead of being tracked down by terrorists, he dies from radiation poisoning, and Marty rushes to drive him to the hospital, inadvertently driving 88 miles an hour and. Well, you know where we're going with this. Yes, it's a bit of a departure, but I guess writing out Libyan terrorists might have been a calculated move.
I don't know. I'm all for keeping to the original source material as much as possible.
Plus, they probably had to get rid of that iconic line, "They found me. I don't know how, but they found me."
Yeah, see, that was a good line.
Leah Thompson, I think? Yeah, I think it was, I'm 90%. 100 and 0%. Hang on.
102%.
I was right. It is Leah Thompson.
With a 2% margin of error.
Leah Thompson, who played Lorraine in the movie. Years later, she was on a show called Scorpion as, a meddling background mother with additional criminal ties. And she looks up and sees bad guys coming towards her. And she looks into the camera and she says that line, "They found me. I don't know how, but they found me." And every single person who was a fan, freaked out. Yes, yes. My myopia. I think I may have started crying, but not because I was emotionally moved. It's quite literally a song by George McFly, all about how being nearsighted
And neurotic.
and neurotic have basically made him who he is today, and he's happy with that.
I couldn't imagine living that way. It sounds like a living hell.
There is a song called Pretty Baby, sung by Lorraine Tamardi, which makes me want to vomit, but that's the intention.
Yeah, that was uncomfortable because she's singing a love song to her son.
Ironically, that's right after My Myopia.
Yeah.
The whole audience was probably attempting to keep from vomiting, watching the mother unwittingly hit on her son with this very suggestive song.
Yeah.
And
Sweet Home Alabama.
and of course, you know, if you have to sum this entire thing up, it is retro and every aspect of it being retro.
Mama Whiskey actually made the comment
Let's
as
hear
we were driving. He's like, I feel like I'm in the 80s again. And she was kind of bopping to one of the songs.
I almost wonder, years ago, they went Back to the Future, Back to the Future 2, Back to the Future 3. The next logical step should have been, let's do a musical. Instead, they waited this many years. What does that tell you, people? Oh, gosh. Let me just look at this again. One last time. And, oh, yeah. Back in time. They ended the musical on the note of a potential sequel.
Yeah.
No.
Please don't.
Please don't. We love you. We love you, Zemeckis. We love you, Silvestri. We love you, Ballard. We love you, Roger Bart, and everyone else in this. We love you all.
All of the actors and actresses are very talented as well.
And the costumes.
We wish you no ill will. Just please, don't do it again.
We cannot miss you if you don't go away. That's the way things are. We can't miss you if you don't go away. And don't come back.
Ever. Please.
But the sad thing is, it's opening next year. Here.
You're not making me go see that one. We're not gonna see it live. I won't pay good money for that.
The Cape Media Center, located in Dennisport, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, is a non-profit community media center and the public access TV station for the towns of Barnstable, Yarmouth, Dennis, Harwich, and Chatham. Our mission is to build community through media, enhance democratic communication, and facilitate free expression by providing these towns with a state-of-the-art media resource center. Members can become trained in our video and audio equipment and produce their own media content. Membership includes training classes, access to our field equipment, studios and facility, as well as airtime. Podcasters and music producers can share their content on our website. For more information, visit capemedia.org.
Back to the Future, musical's DeLorean star car revs up for Broadway opening in 2023. Oh, there it is. There it is in black and white. There's no escaping it, people. It's coming. It'll be driving at 88 miles an hour.
Please no. Just no. I'd love to watch the movie again.
This really has given me an urge to watch the movie again.
Hell, I'll do a marathon with all three.
Oh, no. We can stop at the first one. The second one was like tying up some loose ends, but the third one was wholly unnecessary because they made the second one. We could have just stopped, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to go on the ride?
No.
Universal Studios Orlando.
Okay.
They had the ride at the park.
Never been to Universal.
Let me tell you something. I fell out.
You fell out of the ride.
I fell out of the ride.
Oh, no way.
We were in a makeshift DeLorean that is elevated, and everyone's wearing glasses, everyone's belted into a seat, there's special effects, and there's lots of screens all over showing you all sorts of things. You're pursuing Biff through time, believe it or not.
All right.
I fell out of the ride. I was a very small child, dude. I slipped out of the seatbelt, I fell out of the ride, and they had to stop the entire thing, and I look up and the car is descending towards me, and someone grabs me and pulls me out of the way. I almost died because of Back to the Future. I think I'm entitled to say that statement.
Yeah. There was a joke there, but I decided not to go for it.
All right, let's hear it.
No.
How offensive?
No, it wasn't offensive. I just couldn't get the
How
word.
soul crushing and mean.
I just couldn't get the words right in my own head. I'm just like, something there, but it's not coming to me. Maybe in time.
I mean, someone
But
said. Oh, jeez. I mean, someone said, let's make a musical about a guy in an opera house stalking an underage girl. He's disfigured and he's going to kill everyone on the way. They said, okay, let's do that. Someone said, hey, let's make a musical about two frogs in a pond singing to each other. And someone said, okay. Someone said, hey, you know that thing, The Wizard of Oz? Let's put it from the witch's perspective and make that a musical. And someone said, no, you're talking my language. All of this I can see. But someone sitting in a room, in a boardroom, said, hey, you know what hasn't been a musical in a long time? Back to the Future.
It was never a musical.
Precisely. I actually have something else to bring up here.
You've told me about this one.
Yes.
Now you can
Torment the audience.
torment the audience.
And I'd like to just...
I tried to stop him.
No, you didn't.
I tried to stop him.
No, you didn't.
I was on your side this whole time. I told him not to. I said we shouldn't do it. I dragged him, tried to hold him by the ankle, kept him away from the mic.
I picked up one of his D&D figurines and held it over my lighter and said, let go or the figurine gets it.
And
He desisted.
he had a hostage.
I just want to, once again, sitting around, in quotation marks, minding my own business, a story comes up on my phone. A review from Variety, written by Misha Burson. Bruce review. New musical about the making of Jaws is a shaggy, sometimes soggy saga.
You know, I just want to say that whenever you, especially, but whenever anyone says, so there I was, minding my own business. You were never minding your own business. That's just patently a lie.
If you were minding your own business, then you wouldn't have noticed this.
Exactly.
I admit I'm lying about this. I saw the headline and I did a double take and went, what? A musical about what?
Jaws.
I want to point out that there is a King Kong musical.
Of course there is.
It did not do all that well.
I'm glad.
I've seen the gigantic puppet. I would not want to be on the same stage as that thing. I wouldn't want to be in the same building as that thing. It's horrifying. My friend Troy actually worked on the costumes for that musical.
Wow.
I told him, oh, that's the musical that song City Coming Up is from, and Moonlight Serenade. He said, wow, those are two more songs from it than I remember. Okay, keeping that in mind, I went through this review. This is Jaws the musical. Well, actually, it's the making of Jaws the musical.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yes. Now premiering, and this came out actually on June 14th when I got this. I've been just waiting for the perfect time to bring it up. Premiering at Seattle Rep through June 26th. With wider horizons in mind, Bruce tries to make fresh waves from the stormy creation of the mega hit film Jaws, created by the duo behind the Broadway musical Bandstand, which is great. I love that one. We had tickets. Bruce is based on The Jaws Law, co-screenwriter Carl Gottlieb's behind-the-camera chronicles of Steven Spielberg's 1975 creature feature horror flick, a box office smash that can be credited or blamed as the progenitor of Hollywood's annual summer spree of action blockbusters. Okay, so...
And also kept people away from Cape Cod for a few years.
That shark is out there, man. Plotting revenge. They say it was a robot, but I know the truth. It's out there. They, went out into the ocean, they threw a couple of dolphins out there, and Bruce pops up and says, yo, what's up? And they said, hey, we want to make a movie. Can you, do this, and not kill anyone? And he says, fine. Send more dolphins, this time some baby seals. And they said, all right. And they made a movie.
You're talking about Bruce from Finding Nemo.
You really expect me to believe that anyone would voluntarily go near this horrible shark animatronic? That thing is horrifying.
That was the point.
Okay, so, continuing. Gottlieb's wry, informative book is a bonanza for film nerds, a tell-all saga of shooting delays, budget woes, actor feuds, and location troubles on a somewhat inhospitable Martha's Vineyard and a turbulent ocean. and it charts the inability of a small navy of special effects people to get a fabricated 25-foot great white shark, dubbed Bruce, after Spielberg's lawyer Bruce Raymer, to function properly.
Wait, so the musical is about the making of this?
That's what I'm saying. The characters are Spielberg.
Oh.
And
Oh, so it's a musical about the
Richard
development of
Zanuck
hell.
and David Brown and Verna Fields and Sherry Rhodes, the people behind the scenes. They've even got Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss and Roy Schneider, but played by other people. It's not about. I mean, they're not out there going, "Oh, where shall we see a shark? A shark, a shark, a shark shall we see? Oi, there's a shark, it's coming for us, and now we're going to the bottom of the sea." No, they're going like, they're singing in offices, at cubicles, throwing papers in the air. Saying like, how the hell do we make a shark and put it on the water?
All right, then.
This is insane.
That's not the angle I was expecting, but all right, then.
Act 1 of Bruce features designer Jason Sherwood's imposing grid-like tri-level set piece. Think of TV's Hollywood Squares, which suggests several rows of film frames. And then the second act, the crew takes up residence on scenic Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts. I think I've heard of that place.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's somewhere near here.
Yeah, you gotta take the bridge.
No, or the secret underwater tunnel.
Yep.
Or one of the submarines. But we can't let the tourists know about those three things. Let them think they still have to take a plane or a ferry. Yep. The set changes to an ocean backdrop and projection screen. Once on that island, hey, there's another musical. The highs and lows of making Jaws are depicted in broad comic and increasingly soggy emotional strokes. Now, this is where this review starts to rip into this. Other than Spielberg, there's little character development.
You know, not every character needs character development in a story.
Shaw's heavy drinking and hostility towards a flustered Dreyfuss are played for laughs. Zanuck and Brown's sweat over budget and time. With no Bruce on hand, they line up the ensemble periodically to react to unseen dismal trial runs of the fake fish. What would Hitchcock do? The clever lyrics to what Hitchcock would do echo Spielberg's genuine admiration for his filmmaker hero and the inspiration from Hitch to terrify the audience by leaving some frightening stuff to the imagination.
That's also called,
Insanity?
No, leaving stuff to the imagination is called, not showing the audience that it's a silly, made-up toy.
Spector sings the anguished ballad Tame You compellingly, piling on the cliches about persevering and learning from adversity. And Spielberg sings a huggy farewell ode to his Jaws collaborators in Thank You Enough. It's disingenuous.
Much like Hollywood.
The finale, We Change Things, also goes overboard in glorifying the success of Jaws. Someone said this was a good idea?
Someone greenlit it.
What's next? Moby Dick the musical?
Depending on who gets their hands on it, could go one of two ways.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the musical. They're gonna have a lot of animatronics to make that squid.
Yeah,
But
that'd be fun though. I like Captain Nemo.
There was that absolutely terrible attempt at expanding a world of these literary characters with the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I loved that movie. It was so fun.
I'm not going to say it wasn't fun. It was very fun. It had action and fantasy, but it was, at its core, terrible.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous and terrible. It made, what's his name, quit acting forever. In a second.
No way.
I'm to the internet, away.
Oh, Sean Connery? No, not
Yes, Sean Connery. It made him quit acting. He hated the movie so much, quit acting.
Wow.
Yes.
Sean Connery.
Okay. I, again, said, well, that's ridiculous. We should talk about this at some point. And then as if by magic, something else came to my attention.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Photos sent to me.
You can't prove anything. Oh, wait,
Nope,
what?
Photos.
Oh, this is something different. Okay.
No, it's not about that thing that you were doing, which I totally know about.
Continue.
I thought so. This is, ladies and gentlemen, the musical adaptation of The Karate Kid.
Oh, man.
Beautiful.
Holly Weird. Why
Absolutely
you gotta
beautiful.
ruin everything?
The world premiere of the musical adaptation of The Karate Kid will debut at Stage St. Louis. Performances are set to begin May 25th, 2022, with a run through June 26th at the Ross Family Theater at Kirkwood Performing Arts Center. I had photos of this, so this was already on the stage. This was up and running. I have not done any research on this. I refused to do any research on this. I don't want to know. But now it's in Playbill.
You can't replace Mr. Miyagi.
Apparently they did. It's up. It's out there. I've seen photos of him trimming the little tree, the bonsai tree, and of all the Cobra Kais standing underneath the banner in their black and yellow outfits. I'm sure they have one banger of a number. Oh, God. Why?
Oh, no.
What is this? What is going on?
What is going on is all of the producers and actors who are now, what's the word? What's the phrase?
Washed up?
No, not washed up.
Entering their golden years?
No.
Steadily dying off?
No, the young kids who watch these movies,
Millennials?
yeah,
Oh, gosh.
are getting into
Don't you
these...
dare lump us in with them.
It's sad, but true.
It's not like we decided to suddenly, with no qualifications, jump out of the background and sit down and talk about things. Oh. Continue.
So all these young bucks are getting into these producer roles and these acting things, and they want to act out and do stuff with their childhoods. That's what I think this is.
They're certainly acting out, I will say that. My gosh, what is next? I mean, for crying out loud, they had Mrs. Doubtfire the musical. Closed on Broadway.
You can't have a Mrs. Doubtfire without Robin Williams. I'm sorry.
What are we going to do next? Because clearly, even the concept of giant monsters is... Are we going to do Earthquake, the musical? Godzilla, the musical.
You can't... Same with King Kong. It's stupid giant monster fun. You can't make it into a musical.
John Scalzi's novel, The Kaiju Preservation Society, that should be on stage.
Oh boy.
Can we do Arachnophobia, the musical? Or Eight-Legged Freaks, the musical? That's going to be a lot of puppets. And, I'll like move to the opposite end of the country. Whenever I find out where that musical's playing, I was like, okay, time to pull up stakes, kids. We're getting out of here. I don't have kids. I refer to my dogs as that. The freaking Pelican Brief musical. Mystic Pizza, the musical.
Cool World, the musical.
Have they run out of ideas? I think they have. My gosh, what is going on out there? Everyone should, stay tuned because we'll be discussing E.T., the musical, probably next week or next year.
That one might be all right.
Oh, what have we done? Yes, it's a beautiful day here on Cape Cod.
Yes, a beautiful day for parade.
And here come the floats. Don't they look spiffy?
First up, a salute to New England sport team. Go teams!
Followed closely by the Easter Bunny on a large egg. Adorable.
And there's a gay pride float. Just look at that shiny rainbow.
And here comes Santa Claus in his sleigh.
And bringing up the rear surrounding the leprechaun float, a team of Irish step dancers. Hey, Frosty.
Yes, Whiskey.
What on earth are we celebrating?
No idea, Whiskey. No idea at all. I think there is the potential for something that has been just hanging in front of us this entire time.
Something neglected?
Something neglected that would make a great... Something 1980s that would make a great stage musical, which I'm surprised it hasn't been.
What is it?
Labyrinth.
Yes.
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 Yes!
That has a lot of potential to be a good musical.
I mean, for crying out loud, there was a Spider-Man the musical, which like ended with pretty much everyone getting hurt, all the actors. If we can do that, I think we can summon people to have little puppets dancing around.
I don't know. It's hard to have a Goblin King without a David Bowie.
No, I can see plenty of people. Like Reeve Carney could really play him really well. And I'm sure there are some other people that could definitely play him. I think there's a dangerous precedent that's been set. I mean, what the heck is next? Ghostbusters, Predator, The Abyss, Indiana Jones? What is that going to be like? Just all the women who've slept with Indiana Jones doing a chorus line across the stage. Good grief! Is there nothing sacred out there?
No, unfortunately not.
Why have we reached this point in human history?
Because we are in a time of corporate regurgitation, I would call it.
I'll agree. I would totally agree with that. Why create something new when you can just...
Recycle old thing. You loved old thing. Pay more money to buy old thing.
And now it has a shiny new hat on.
Yeah.
I think
That's very cynical.
I think if we continue in this vein, we might actually or accidentally collapse society as we know it. I think we better stop.
I fail to see your reasoning.
Next time on Bourbon on Ice, we have an anniversary to celebrate.
Yours?
No, that was in May. I'm talking something nerdy and special, 30 years in the making.
I mean, we missed your anniversary?
Yes, you
Whatever could it be? No, seriously. I have no idea.
did. You'll find out next week, and as always,
Have a cold one on us.
So you really had no idea that you missed my anniversary?
No, I didn't. You've never told me.
So many gifts you owe me. So many gifts.
This podcast was recorded at and produced by Cape Media Center on Cape Cod, Massachusetts by podcasting duo Mike Whiskey and your friend Frosty. All music and sound credits go to soundstripe.com. Special thanks to Jamie Horton, Emily Tulloch, Gabrielle Rawson. For more information on Bourbon on Ice, visit our social media page at twitter.com/whiskeyfrosty. For more information on Cape Media Center, visit capemedia.org. For more listening options and a variety of podcasting entertainment, visit our host.org.